Hello and welcome to Andy Likes Cars, or as it's almost becoming, Andy Likes Audio. Today we are looking at another Bose product, the Bose Lifestyle 30 Series 2. I already have a Bose Lifestyle 30, and for this video I've actually bought another one so that I can demonstrate the zone systems. Okay, so this is what I picked up, a Bose Lifestyle 30 Series 2 plus additional sub-in speakers. From the auction photos, it appeared to be dirty but complete. In the auction listing, it indicates that all the speaker cables have been cut and will need to be reattached, and the LCD display on the Lifestyle Music Center isn't working. But that is a common problem, and I have actually fixed that before. So let's take a look at actually what I got. So here is what I purchased: a complete Bose Lifestyle 30 Series 2 system and a Bose acoustimass 20 powered speaker system. So you might be wondering what all of this cost new. Well, I have the original receipt here, and let me tell you, someone went shopping. This here cost $2,400. Then they brought a remote which cost an extra $150. They brought some wall brackets which came in at $420, and this lifestyle system here was $6,500, bringing the total to almost $9,500 New Zealand dollars. So first off, these acoustimass modules are pretty dirty. Let's see if we can clean them up. Nice and clean. Now let's start by taking a look around the two acoustimass modules. First up on the side, it's a big white box. Bose allows you to adjust things like the treble and bass with these handy controls on the side here. Up front it's also pretty basic. It says the word Bose, there's a big hole, sound comes through that, and yes, I know this one's still dirty. Around back, it's where things start to get interesting. The Bose acoustimass module that comes with the Lifestyle system is a 5.1 setup, so there are outputs for the 3 front speakers and for 2 rear speakers. The acoustimass module for the other system only has 2 speaker outputs left and right, and also comes with a power switch, but as you can see they're based on similar designs. The plugs are slightly different. So here are the Bose dual cube speakers. They are very, very small, tiny in fact. They have the ability to be directed left and right, and as you can see on the back is this, and I believe this is a wall mount, which is quite useless because I think the other part of the wall mount is missing, so I will remove this. There's also a proprietary plug for the speakers. There's also these little bass ports here to send a little bit of sound out the back here, and it's also the same on the other side here. Okay, so the first thing to fix is the display on the Lifestyle Music System. So you just have to open it up first, and this is sort of got some interesting catches, so you have to kind of get in here and nicely sort of maneuver it up. And it's now loose, and once you've loosened the adhesive, it can be easily removed. So once you open it up, you have to undo these 3 screws here. and then remove this little cable here. And then undo this little spring clip here. And then this should nicely and easily pop off. And then that just nicely lifts out. Just remove the cable first. And that lifts out. Put that away. Then you can remove the CD mechanism, like so. And then you're getting to, then you remove, I guess, this thing here, which is the cover. And then you make sure that these 4 springs here don't get lost. You'll need those later. And then this is the part you're going to be looking at, which is here. There's one capacitor here that needs to be replaced. And 5 more that need to be replaced here. I've already replaced them, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back together, and I can show you how this all works. Carefully ease this back down. So you carefully ease this back down. Make sure that's resting quite nicely there. And I guess if you plug this in, I can show you maybe how it works. The CD mechanism is here, and the CD magazine is here, and you can also change this. So when you change disc, it slides the disc back in, so it's going to slide that in now, and then it's going to move up, and it's going to slide the next disc into place and start playing. It does it pretty quickly, pretty smooth. I'll do it again. Now pulls the next disc in and starts playing. Okay, so I think that concludes the demonstration of how this works. Let's go ahead and get this back together. So here we have a pair of Bose Lifestyle Music Centers. They have a lovely design, and I think that's my favourite thing about the stereo is the sleek appearance of the control unit. They both have CD stackers in them. If you just open up here, that wasn't the smoothest. The CD stacker lives in there, and there are all the buttons to control it here. When you turn it on, that's what it looks like. So around back you have auxiliary input, video inputs 1 and 2. You've got your speaker zones, so there would be speaker zone 1 for the living room, and then maybe speaker zone 2 for the dining room. You've got power, you've got a serial data port, you've got tape in and tape out, and an aerial over here. Listing described the cables as being cut and easy to reattach. Now, for some of those cables, the length that I got out when I reattached them wasn't too bad. This one here is a pretty good length, and so is this one. But for the rest of the cables, it seemed that they cut them at both ends of where they were in the wall. So we only got 2 really short bits, and the Bose cables that come with my other Bose Lifestyle system, which is set up in my home, the cables are much longer, so it resulted in having quite short cables. So you ended up with a really short cable like this one here, which wasn't ideal. So then I thought, well, I'd better create some extension cables, so I had to create those for 5 of the wires. Then I thought, well, I'm done now, I can get it all working. And then I discovered they cut something else. They actually cut the acoustimass module wire, and this was a little bit more of a problem. So coming out of here, there is quite a lot of wires, and this is basically the wire that I got in the middle. It was butchered here, and then down here it looked like someone had cut this and fixed it before, because there was all this horrible heat shrink and sellotape. So I'm not actually sure if this was one cable or if this was 2 cables, because Also what goes into here is the digital audio cable, which I've also had to repair. I've also had to lengthen it as well. So this required a little bit more work than I was initially expecting. But it's all repaired now and it all works. So let's take a look at the system and get it set up. We're ready to test the system. There are two things I want to do here. I want to show you the zone system and how that works for different rooms of the house. And I also want to compare the Bose Lifestyle 30 that I brought for this video and the Bose Lifestyle 30 that I brought a couple of years ago, just to make sure that they sound exactly the same and there are no differences. So without further ado, let's get set up. Okay, so that concludes the listening test, and I can tell you now there's not much difference in terms of sound quality between the white set of speakers and the black set of speakers. Now there are some slight differences, but I'd like to point out that the black subwoofer is over there, the white subwoofer is over here, and the speakers are in slightly different positions and angled slightly differently, which all add to the slight differences in sound quality. There's also levels when it comes to how much surround sound you're listening to, so I think all those play a slight difference in terms of setup, but overall they sound pretty much the same as each other. Now how I achieve this? Well, I did cheat a little bit. Now I could have got an audio source and split that so that one half of that source goes into this Lifestyle Music Center, which would power the white speakers, and then into this Lifestyle Music Center, which would power the black speakers. However, I just thought, why not use the zones? So on zone 1, this lifestyle system is powering the black speakers, and on zone 2 is powering the white set of speakers. So you can actually have two 5.1 channel systems on the same setup. And you can also, and you don't have to use the secondary remote. So this is the remote that came with the other Bose acoustimass 20, but you can also use the main remote controls as zone 2 remote controls. So all I needed to do to set this up so that one of these systems could be used as the second zone was flip a little switch in the back of the remote control, and it works just fine. So if you want two simultaneous 5.1 surround sound setups in your home, then you can. And it made it really easy to switch between one and the other. It was all I needed to do was mute one and then let the other play. So that's how I achieved it. So I thought I'd pack the other Bose Lifestyle 30 away because we don't actually need that to demonstrate the zone system. So how do you connect the zone system? Well, we have to obviously set up the speakers upstairs or in another part of the house, which we'll do shortly, but on this end all you need to do is grab this cable here, which is the zone 2 cable or an extension cable, and plug that into the back of the Lifestyle Music System. Okay, so I've set up zone 2 in my bedroom. I've just done it quickly by placing the subwoofer here and the dual cube speakers on this cabinet here. If I was doing this properly, I'd place them in better locations, but it's just to demonstrate for this video. I've also set up this remote control to control zone 2, and this will control the music system that's downstairs from up here, and it can do this because Bose have radio frequency remotes, which is different from most remotes which are infrared. So from here I can control everything, which is a great bonus. So if I want to play a CD, all I need to do is click the CD button and the CD starts playing, which is really nice. Now I can do everything that I can do downstairs as well. I can skip tracks and all that good stuff. I can also play the radio. and select different stations. And it all works just fine. I think this would be most useful if you were having a dinner party and you wanted the music that was playing in the lounge to also play in the dining room or in other parts of your house, maybe in your kitchen as well, so you've got an even level of sound in all of the rooms. Okay, so within the Bose Lifestyle System that we're looking at today, there has been quite a few variations. There was Series 1 and 2, which I'm not going to get into today because I'm not really sure what the differences are, but at least we can start here with what we are looking at today, which is the Bose Lifestyle 30. Now, the Bose Lifestyle 30 came with the smaller dual cube speakers, and I believe that these were more expensive than the regular dual cube speakers because those speakers were available on the Bose Lifestyle 25. The only real difference here is really the speakers. However, if you want to spend even more money, you could get the Bose Lifestyle 50, and it came with a fancy remote control and a very interesting ability to expand rooms with the expander room module. If you wanted a 2.1 system, then you could start with a Bose Lifestyle 20, which again came with the dual cube speakers for smaller ones, but not the larger ones. It might have been available with the bigger speakers. You could have also got the Bose Lifestyle 40, which also came with a room expander module, but only a 2.1 setup. And at, I guess, the top of a range of a 2.1 system, you could get it with the 901 speakers, which of course are Bose's legendary and classic speakers. So it's now time to talk about sound quality. In the Bose Lifestyle Music System 30 Series 2 sounds pretty good most of the time. The music, it does a pretty good job of reproducing the sound, especially things like Joss Stone's and Norah Jones and jazz. That all sounds pretty good. It does a pretty good job of also doing things like the Chemical Brothers and sort of faster music. Maybe not the best for rap or hard rock. And sometimes the speakers do distort just a little tiny bit or get a little bit muffled. I think it's because the Bose is trying to decide where to send the midtones. Is it trying to send it through the little dual cube speakers, or is it trying to send it through the subwoofer? And this is why I don't think this sound system sounds as good as it can. The little dual cube speakers are just a little bit too small, and I think that's what leads to the harshness in sound. Why Bose thought these were better speakers, I don't know. I think I would like to actually try the Bose Lifestyle 25's bigger dual cube speakers because I'm pretty sure those are going to sound better if my old Bose Lifestyle 10 is anything to go by, because with that system the larger speakers sounded much richer and sounded much better. Even though they're only slightly bigger, they made a huge difference. As for this, goodness gracious me, if I paid $6,500 for this back when it was new, I think I'd be feeling a little bit shortchanged because it's not as good as it could be. It's pretty good, but it's not great. And that's how I feel about this. Now, I did not pay $6,500 for this stereo here. I paid less than $300 for it if you're going to just include the Bose Lifestyle 30 component of what I purchased. And for that, I guess it's a pretty good price. I mean, where else can you get a stereo that has 5.1 channels and has a really good sound range for that price? Okay, so while there are many different opinions on how good Bose potentially is or isn't, it's not to say that the Bose Lifestyle Music System is a bad stereo. I just think that the older Bose that came before it was a better stereo, which doesn't say much for progress, and you do have to wonder why they sold it with these tiny speakers. I mean, maybe they look more expensive, maybe they were considered more futuristic or more sophisticated. I'm not entirely sure. Thanks so much for watching. I've been Andy Likes Cars, and I hope to bring you more exciting content soon. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and hit that bell notification icon if you feel that you'd like to do so. Goodbye!